Hey guys, how's it going? So we're back with another video, and this one is going to be so weird to you, I think, considering what we talked about recently in another video. But I'm just going to start the video by saying it out loud. I love Epiphone. What? I thought you were the Gibson fanboy. I thought you were the guy that hated Fender, so naturally you love Gibson. All you do is talk about Gibson, 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 Gibson. Your backdrop has a bunch of Gibsons in it. You always talk about how you own so many of them, blah, 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 blah. Here's the thing. I got a special place in my heart for Epiphone. I think it starts with my grandfather, who I talked about in a recent video. He played in the 60s and 70s an Epiphone EA250. Back then they made Japanese imports. Those were some cheaper guitars that you could buy back then. My grandmother bought it for him, and he played it all over the small Indiana town that he lived in. He performed with it, he gigged with it, and it was his number one. So, you know, Epiphone, it made an impression on me before I even knew what the brand was. But I don't understand how they can get it so right so often as a brand. I own like 9. I'm not kidding. I own so many Epiphones. There's one right here that you can't see. That's an Epiphone Stiletto. This is my Epiphone Les Paul Custom. This is my Epiphone EA250. It's not Grandpa's, unfortunately. His went to a family member that I don't have a relationship with. I've got, let's see, there's an Epiphone Les Paul Standard 2002 with 3 humbuckers. There's an Epiphone Les Paul Studio 2020 that my wife got me for Christmas a few years ago. I own so many Epiphones, and I haven't gotten a bad one. That doesn't count the ones that I've had and sold or traded. The only bad one, I guess, was there. I had an '89, an original release Epiphone Les Paul Standard. It wasn't very good. It was very light, and they just didn't make it very well. But other than that one, I mean, I'm thinking back to the other ones I've owned. I've owned multiple Les Paul 100s. I've owned a Bolt-On Studio E1. I owned a Goth SG. I've owned so many Epiphones, and they're so good. And I don't know why. I don't get it. This one in particular, I mean, I gigged this one last weekend, which is bonkers. I own like 9 Les Pauls. I own so many Gibsons, and I took this one. Something about the way it makes me feel when I play it. You want to hear it? It just makes me feel a certain kind of way, you know? I guess I'm making this video because I don't understand why people hate on them. Maybe it's an extension of hating on Gibson, you know? People hate on Gibson, and it's remarkable to me. The amount of hate that I see against Gibson isn't even close to the amount of hate that I see on Fender. And I don't know why. Maybe it's because Fenders are more accessible. Maybe it's because the Fender imports are still Fenders, whereas the Gibson imports are always Epiphones. The things that compete with Mexican Fenders are expensive Epiphones. I don't really understand what leads to that amount of hatred. It really doesn't make sense to me, you know? The ones that I've played are great. And on the other hand, the amount of love and affection that are given to brands like Firefly and IYV and Harley Benton and West Creek and Leo James, and I'm sure I'm missing some, it boggles my mind. How can you be a fanboy for something that's only existed for a couple years, and all it is an aftermarket stamp on a mass-produced import? There's no Firefly factory or Harley Benton factory. They are making the guitars, and oftentimes it's the same guitar. You can buy it from 2 different brands, and it's the exact same guitar. They just stamp it on. How can you say that you love these brands so much, and then when you ask, oh, what's your favorite model? It's the Les Paul copy. What? Why would you not just get something like this? This is a 1997 Epiphone Les Paul Custom. These do not have weight relief. Now mine is heavily modified. If you know anything about me, you're not surprised. But this is like $300 or $400 used. And I can understand being a fan of this brand because this brand has history, you know, it has heritage. Even Squier. I hate to even say that out loud. But I would respect someone more if they were a die-hard Squier guy than if they were a die-hard Firefly guy. I just don't get it. I don't get... And this goes back into what we talked about in the last couple videos ago, or the last video. I don't understand this whole idea of like, well, it's all in the player. It's all in the player. It's all in the... I mean, look, as much as I love this guitar, this is one of my favorite Les Pauls. When I pick up the Gibson, it's so much better. It's so much... And it's not just because of how I feel when I play it. It's just objectively better. Put the cheapest Epiphone special with a wraparound tailpiece in my hands, and I'll make it sound pretty good, I think. Because I'm a pretty good player, I think. But does that mean that that wraparound tailpiece cheapo Epiphone is as good as this Gibson Les Paul Standard right here? This doesn't make any sense. That would be like saying if you put Petty in a 1989 Honda Civic, that it would be just as good as a brand new Corvette. Just because he can drive it just as good. It doesn't make any sense at all. So, we kind of went off on another tangent there, but I just wanted to make this video to appreciate Epiphone and to encourage anybody looking at an Epiphone that I think you should get it. I'm just going to wholesale say it. I think you should get it. Because I look down at this logo, and I'm like, hey, that's Grandpa's logo. But I also look down at that logo, and I'm like, yeah, that's John Lennon, right? John Lennon. So, I don't know. There you go. Epiphone is awesome. You should buy one. Bye.